I can say that, that could be my recommendation, but it's not going to be the same for everyone. Welcome back to another episode from the Optimal Body Podcast. I'm DocJen.
And I'm Dr. Tom.
And today we're talking about sleeping position, mattresses, and pillows. Let's break down what you actually need to know to help support your body best. So before you hear from two PTs about what sleeping position is most important or what mattress we recommend or what pillows we recommend, I really want to take the time to say, please don't forget to subscribe because we have so many more episodes, whether they're on specific pain points or they're just on increasing your mobility in general, improving how you move so you feel better in your body. So please hit that subscribe and leave any comments below along this podcast if you have more questions.
Everyone asks and they think just like, oh, there's one pillow, there's one mattress out there that's best. And that's like the challenge is that that's not actually the case. Yes, there's probably one pillow and mattress out there that would be best for you and would give you the best, most comfortable sleep, but that's not going to be the same for everybody. And it's really dependent on what works the best with your body. Like if you need something that is slightly more soft, more firm pillows, it depends a lot on what position you tend to like to sleep in and how that pillow is going to best support you in that position. Yeah. So
as a physical therapist, we've had so many companies that come to us with specific types of pillows, right? Ergonomic pillows and better sleeping position pillows. And that might be what you love. Like that might be what you drive with. Personally, I never did. I tried a couple of the brands that would reach out and I could never talk about them or show them or anything or collaborate with them in any way because I personally would never have used it. It was so structured that it didn't provide the variability that does happen naturally when I sleep. I am not always just on one position and I'm moving throughout the night. And this is what I want to say, that is okay and that is natural. So as much as we might try to give advice to best support your body in starting to go to bed, the reality is you're probably going to move throughout the night, and don't freak out about that.
We can figure out that, hey, maybe the pillow, mattress, or sleeping position I'm in isn't the most supportive, or we could make a change to help my body feel a little bit safer if we're waking up with pain.
I think that there's always ways that we could best support, okay, how can we support what we currently have? Because mattresses are expensive and trying to go from like mattress to mattress is tough. Let's try to work with what we have. First, what are we doing throughout the day? Because if we're neglecting our mobility on a day-to-day regular basis, if we're neglecting our strengthening and moving our body throughout the day, if we're not able to have stress relief and find ways to down-regulate our body, expecting to go to sleep and completely down-regulate and completely relax might not be the reality for you. So you might be falling asleep stiffer, a little less mobile, and then you put yourself in positions where your body's like, well, I can't sustain this position for so long, and you wake up feeling achy or painful. So I think going to these three areas first would be my best recommendation from a physical therapy standpoint.
Looking at the mattress, what would you say people should look for when it comes to a mattress? Softer, more firm? What's better?
Better is what's best for you. But in general, what I typically tend to recommend is a more firm or medium firm mattress, firm to medium firm. And I think because that has more structure to kind of support the body, you can still have a soft topper on the top. I'm not saying you need something super stiff. However, sometimes when we have such a soft mattress, we end up sinking into it. And that's where we can have the body rest into such extreme spinal positions or just positions in the body that your body isn't used to sustaining or doesn't have the mobility or the relaxation ability to get into that deep of a mattress. So sometimes you might wake up with pain. However, I know there are people out there who like softer type mattresses. So I can say that, that could be my recommendation, but it's not going to be the same for everyone. We look beyond just the density of the mattress and how it feels, and we want to know the materials. We want to know that the company is using good, organic, things that I'm going to be breathing all night long that I feel comfortable breathing on and using for years to come. So we actually use Brentwood Home and their Crystal Cove mattress, which is the one that we'll link to below. All our guests are just like obsessed with it every time they stay on it. Yeah. And it actually has two sides. It has a more firm side and then it has a softer side. So you actually get to have that ability to say, oh, I don't like the softer side or I don't like the firmer side, and you can flip the mattress around. So we trust the company, we trust the quality, and they have that a little bit flexibility within the mattress. So if you are just like in overwhelm of not knowing where to go to, that's one that we recommend.
Yeah, which brings us to the pillows too. And the thing that I love about one of the pillows that you can get from, it's also the Crystal Cove pillow from Brentwood Home, is the main thing you want to look for with a pillow is, again, that thickness. That might change depending on whether you lay on your back or your side, because really what we want to do is to have a thickness that is enough so it will support our head in the position that we'd like to sleep in. But again, you know, sleeping on your back, you're not going to want a pillow that's really, really thick, right? Because then it's going to push your head forward and, you know, that doesn't make as much sense. But sleeping on your side, you have more of a gap that might be, you know, between your shoulder and your ear. So then we'd want something that's a little bit thicker so our head isn't kind of crooked down to the pillow all night. So this Crystal Cove pillow from Brentwood actually allows you to kind of unzip it and take some of the filling out depending on how thick of a pillow you feel like you might need. So it's not just a one size fits all, which most pillows tend to be, but you can adjust based on taking filling in and out.
Yes, so we'll link that below as well.
That kind of brings us to sleeping position. And again, sleeping position is kind of an interesting thing because when we were looking at, you know, there was some research on sleeping positions and how people sleep throughout life. It's interesting when you look at children, they tend to actually like sleep equally between the three positions, on back, on side, and on their stomach. And as people get older, you know, we tend to see more people choosing to like sleep on their side, or, you know, having the preference of sleeping on their side, with less people sleeping on their back, and then actually the least amount of people sleeping on their stomach. And yeah, I just thought that was an interesting progression, and that, you know, kids, you see almost an equal split between the three.
Sleeping position really becomes dependent on what feels best for your individual body. Again, this is like our whole message here, but also making sure that your body can find that relaxation. And just kind of like what I had touched on before, do you have the mobility to be sleeping in that position for a sustained period of time? Does your body fully relax in that position? Are you able to downregulate in that position? Because if not, then that's where we can, you know, suggest some tools to kind of help to support your body a little bit better. So hopefully you can find that relaxation, at least to start you off to sleep.
The largest amount of people who, you know, select stomach sleeping report neck symptoms, and less of them report low back symptoms, where if you look at people who select to sleep or preference to sleep on their back, you know, you'll see that group of people report more lower back symptoms versus neck symptoms. And then people who select sleeping on the side have slightly lower amounts of those in general. So if you are waking up with pain, I think that's the important thing to say, okay, what can we do to support the body now to maybe put your body in a slightly different position so that it does feel safe, it does feel relaxed throughout the night. And then how can we, either before we go to sleep or in the morning when we wake up, do some of those mobility things, do some of those strength or down regulation things to get our body prepared to actually relax and be comfortable while we're sleeping.
So let's talk about some of the different positions and how we think that if you do preference one, like great, at least for falling asleep, then we can say how, you know, you can set yourself up to feel a little bit more supported. Maybe it helps to reduce some of those aches and pains when you're waking, or just in general improving that relaxation response within your body based on how you set up your sleep. So in general, for the back, we already mentioned you don't want a huge pillow just at your neck, because then that's going to kind of crank your head forward all throughout the night. I actually like to kind of have the pillow just slightly underneath the shoulders, and that kind of helps to align where the head, the neck, and the rib cage and your diaphragm are kind of coming into alignment. So rather than just crinking at the neck, we kind of have this more of a C position so that there's a little bit better airflow, because the reality is we need to be able to breathe really easily as we're sleeping. And then actually taking a pillow underneath, or a few pillows or a wedge underneath your knees can help, and that's what can support the low back so that it's not in that tilted position.
Yeah, and then again, if you're having those low back symptoms, doing some sort of deep breath work into your rib cage, into your core, doing some breath work as you work into some hip mobility mobility before you go to sleep might be the thing that just helps your body relax a little bit more so you don't have so much back tension, and might be able to start removing those wedges under your legs and just sleep comfortably on your back. Side sleeping, maybe having a pillow or something just slightly behind your back so that you're almost leaning into that, and like you said, allowing your shoulder blade to slide out, and so we're actually resting onto our shoulder blade. You can also have a pillow between your legs, because then it kind of helps gap those legs a little bit. Some people like to sleep with a pillow underneath their arm too. So really using those pillows or bolsters in any way that you feel can be a little bit more supportive.
Yeah, and then even one more that some people might like to use, whether if it's a rolled up towel or blanket, or just like one of those small lumbar pillows, and kind of sticking that underneath the side of where your hip is, so that if you feel like you're on your side, your back kind of dips, or your hip starts to feel like a lot of pressure throughout the night. That's where you could just stick like a small wedge of sorts underneath the low back in that hip area, and then the hips are supported, the arm is supported, the shoulders supported. We have a pillow in the back, so you're not going to roll all the way back, and those are when you need like all the pillows. And some people might laugh at that, but it really does help to just create that support in that environment, so you feel like you can really melt and relax into that tension. But I would say still going into like, feel your hand on your low rib cage and take 5 slow deep breaths as you're falling asleep. Like, that's gonna melt you into more of a relaxed position more than anything will.
I don't like just sleeping directly on your stomach. Like, when we looked at the research, it said a lot of people start moving away from this because it just makes breathing so much more work. Because when you think about it, your body weight is actually then resting down on your rib cage. And in order to breathe well into our low rib cage, we have to breathe against our entire body weight almost, and allow our rib cage to press forward and expand down into the bed against our body weight and gravity. So if we instead, have kind of a full length or a longer body pillow, I don't have a full length one, but the one that I use is like one of the king size decorative pillows almost, and I almost will lay that underneath my arm and my leg, so it kind of props me up, and I'm not laying quite on my stomach, but almost up at an angle a little bit. And that also then helps with my head, so I don't have to have my head cranked and turned all the way to the side, but it's just more slightly rotated to rest on the pillow. Actually, really, that's one of the most comfortable positions for me to lay in.
Yeah, even if we crank the neck all the way to the side, we kind of can cause some blocking of the airway, and especially for those who lay on their back and might have their chin kind of jutted up to the sky. If you are laying into like a lower pillow, or your neck doesn't quite have that mobility, which causes the mouth usually to fly open, and then that's where you might have a partner that snores all night long, or you might feel like I need to roll them to their side, because that usually, if you roll someone to their side, they have a better aligned airway with their neck, they close their mouth, and they tend to nasal breathe. Nasal breathing, if we can get into that, I think that's the best sleeping position. No matter where you are, if you can nasal breathe, that's so incredibly huge just for our entire oxygen throughout our body. We're getting more nitric oxide, we're relaxing our system, we're feeling more alert when we wake up because of that. So being able to nasal breathe at night is so huge.
It's more of a telltale sign that you're in that relaxed parasympathetic nervous system, versus if you are breathing through your mouth, then it's more of a sign that we're probably breathing into the chest, needing to use our accessory muscles, which again can contribute to the tension around our neck and shoulders and upper back.
Even through pregnancy, symptoms have changed, and I've realized, sometimes I would get super stuffy at night, and a lot of women have realized, using breathe right strips at night as I'm going later into my pregnancy can help, so that when I lay back, I can still breathe through my nose and I'm not getting that intense congestion. Hopefully that helped to kind of tie it together for you. And
I mean, the main message again is what works best for you. Do some experimenting. Buy a few extra pillows that may be less expensive to start. I mean, you can go to a department store and get 4 or 5 extra
especially
pillows.
If they're filler pillows.
For the filler pillows that you're just using to kind of support, and try out a more pillow supported back sleeping or side sleeping, or anything to that degree. And again, when it comes to the mattress or the pillow, do some experimenting there as well. Try to take and give yourself 3, 6, 9 months to find that mattress that works best for you, especially if you're going to be making that investment. Take the time to find one that works, but ultimately coming back into some of these practices that might help you calm down and relax the system and find more comfort and relaxation in your body to get a restful night's sleep that's going to help you long term more than anything. Thanks for joining us for another PT Pearl on sleep positions, mattresses, pillows, and what is best for you and your body. If you have interest in that Brentwood home mattress or pillow or checking those out, take the link below. Please let us know in the comments if you had any other question. What mattress do you find best for you? What sleeping position do you like? Or have you noticed you have pain in certain sleeping positions? Remember to click that subscribe button and notification bell before you take off, and we'll see you next time.